All right, so I've pulled the camera in a little tighter so we can get a little better look at what we're doing here. I've rinsed out my big flat brush, and so we'll just set that aside for now. I think I would like to knock out this white corner, because as we cover the white parts of the canvas, while we're working, that white corner is just going to keep drying our eye, and it will frankly keep bugging me. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's leave that alone. And see how there's just a little bit of difference, like that corner is different than that. As you get more comfortable painting, you'll be comfortable leaving things alone. Not that that's not much of a difference, but if I painted that whole corner very carefully and licked it to death, then there'd be no variety. As a new painter, that's just normal to want to, you kind of find comfort in a spot where, okay, I know I'm doing this right. Okay, I just want to keep doing that. But as you get a little more comfortable as a painter, you'll know that the variation in the brush strokes and the textures and things is what adds a lot of interest. So, all right, so I think we're gonna tackle this back egg. Let's see, what colors shall we use? Now this is a very dark color, transparent oxide orange, and this is transparent oxide brown, but I love them so much because this one is kind of a true brown, but this one, as you can see as I pull it out, it's very orangey. It's lovely and dark and warm, but it's got a lot of vibrancy to it. So sometimes just that, look how vibrant that is. That is so bright. I'm going to wipe off my knife and show you how the brown, I'm going to put it next door to the transparent oxide red. This is transparent oxide brown. And you'll see the difference when I add white to that. See how brown it is? It's very dull in comparison to this, which is crazy vibrant. But I love having both of them because sometimes you need things with punch and sometimes you need things that just need to be warm and dark but not as vibrant. So I'm thinking the egg that I'm looking at is the light one in the back, and I'm thinking that we need some vibrancy. So let's see what happens if we add them together. So let's see what we get with that as we start to sketch in our egg. Okay, so since this one, we're going to use our same color, transparent oxide red. But we don't want it the very same. This second egg is a little darker, so we're going to add a little more brown to our mixture. And just do the same thing. Ooh, that's too dark. We want him lighter, so we're going to add white. Too dark and too strong. The white will not only lighten the color, but it subdues that vibrancy. Let's just a little more light. We want it to look different than the first one. We want it to look more brown. So we're just massing it in, sneaking up on the outer edge. And as we go, if you would drop a line in the comments and let me know what you'd like me to paint, and we'll see what we can do. I just want to make videos that are helpful to people, enjoyable. And if you wouldn't mind to hit the like button, that would be great because it pushes the video out to more people. And I love comments. I'd like to hear from you. I want to get to know you. I want to know what you're doing with your painting, how long you've been painting. If you just enjoy watching painting, I just want us all to be friends. So that's a good way to do that. And subscribe. That's a great thing to do because then you're notified any time a a video gets released. So that way you won't miss out on anything. So just sneaking up on that edge here. Again, oh, I love it. I love when that background kind of gets pulled in. It just makes that turning edge without it looking pasted and cut out. Sometimes it's a little too much, but it's manageable, and it's still better to me than not having it. Okay, we're getting closer. Getting closer to his right size here. Right shape. Alright. More brown. And remember our other one, he was floating and melting into the table until we put his cast shadow on. So we'll get to that point pretty soon here. I just want to finish getting this masked in. So I want to think about the fact that this egg is pointing at us, so that his nose is kind of here. And so that will help me try to get his shape correct. Hi Buster, how are you? Alright, so we're going to get more dark brown. Alright, that's getting a little better. Alright, I'm going to add a little more light to the light side, so it's the brown and white. Because it's looking a little too much like the table. Alright, he's nearly there. He's looking a little smaller than his brother, so let's continue to build him out a little bit. I'm going to start with the brown and the blue for the body shadow. We can just bump it out that way. I think he needs to be a little wider up here. And a little broader down here, I think. A little more brown. Yeah, standing up and getting away from it helped a little bit. I think we need to broaden this. Alright, so let's wipe out our brush and do our blending here. Cross hatching, so I start at the top of the seam and I just do back and forth, following the curve of the subject I'm trying to paint, like this egg. I'm trying to follow the curve of the shape. Yeah, I think that helped. Bear likes to go out and get sticks and bring them in and chew them on the carpet, so he's so cute. Alright, so the lines go this way from the cross hatching, so I'm going to blend it the opposite way. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, so more brown and white to continue to build up this side. So I wiped out my brush from the cross hatching, and now I'm adding more lights to continue to bring out the light side. Alright, so let's see. I think I'm going to put the cast shadow in under this egg because it made such a difference with the first one. So we're back to the table color, which is the brown and blue with a touch of crimson. We'll start bringing this in here. This is going to pop this guy up off the table. Right now he's melting. This is going to set him up. And it'll help us figure out the shape of his bottom, which will help us figure out how to make him more look like an egg. Alright, so bringing this nice dark color paying attention to the shape of the egg, because I keep, every time I hesitate or stop, you see my brush stop, I'm looking at the subject. I look at it a bunch. I don't just look at it once and then take off. I'm constantly referring to it. Some more brown and blue. That last brush stroke I did pick paint up off, so I'm reloading and I'm reapplying. I have to, as it's just not sticking for whatever reason, so I'm adding more paint and adding it back onto the subject, onto the canvas, I mean. There's Bear chewing his sticks. He brought in 3 sticks. He has toys and dog chews and all kinds of stuff, but he prefers sticks. He's very cute. Except when I step on them barefooted and I don't realize they're there. Then it's not so cute, but it's fine. Alright, so we're going to I'm using the outer corner of my brush to clean up this line of this egg down here. More paint, more paint. It's not dark enough. Alright, I added a little crimson, the dark red, and that's helping drive it a little darker. Okay, now we need it to fall away. And it's so dark over here, we'll have to decide if we want to lighten up around the cast shadow or if we just want it to melt into the background. Bear, you don't need another stick, babe. You're fine. You're funny. You're a funny boy. Okay. So that's pretty dark and pretty lost. So I think we might add some light around it. Let's see real fast here. Alright. We just want our shadows falling in the same direction. We both want them going that way. We don't want them going that way and the other one going up or something. We need them to both be going the same way. There we go. That matches a little better. Alright, so I'm going to rinse out my brush. Take a squint peek at this. I think we're going to start putting lights on the eggs and then see if we need to deepen our body shadows. Thinking we might need to. Alright, so I've washed out my brush because I don't want any remnant of the dark colors. And I'm loading with pure white. And I'm squinting at my subject, and I think the highlight lives right there on this one. So I paint it bigger than I see it. I put it on one time. When you do a highlight, you want to load your brush. So I've just got white and some terp. You don't want it too thick. You need a little terp so it'll stick. If the paint's really thick, it won't come off your brush. It'll just pick up what's there. But I kind of like that how it is. I usually ease it in, but I think I'm going to just try. I kind of like it. I think I'll leave it. This one, his highlight is living about here. It's not quite big enough, so I'm going to wipe out my brush, reload, and redo it. Make it a little longer. This one I think I'll ease in a little bit. So I just go around the very edges of it and pull it out. And just ease it in. I want I'm actually going to paint it out and just lighten this egg a little bit because he's a little too dark. He's not popping up off of this table as much as he could. So we're going to add a little more light to this. I think he needs to grow just a little bit. It's a little challenging painting off to the side. When I do a painting, I'm looking at it head on, but when I'm teaching, I'm looking at it from the side so people can see. So I guess that's a disclaimer, an excuse, whatever. But I'm trying to get his shape right here. I think that might be better. I think I like that. Okay. So we're going to keep adding a little more light to this side. This is our body tone color like we talked about in the beginning. Adding more light, more light. So we had our foundation colors, our massing in, and now we're looking at how that worked. If we want to influence it, if we want to make it stand out more, you know, things like that. So it's like when you cook, you make chili, you throw in everything you know you always throw in, but then you got to taste it and see and say, ooh, that needs salt, or oh my, more garlic for sure. So it's like the same kind of idea. All right, well, I do not know. Sometimes I think they look like golf balls, so anyway. So I'm going to reload with white and put my highlight on, and then we're going to blend it in here. So I think since I lightened that area, I need to continue to lighten the body a little bit because it looks like the body shadow's halfway. We need it to look like it's over here. So I'm going to grab more of the medium color here and just start spreading that around a little bit. More white. More white. This come forward a little more. Yeah, I like that. That's working. Hi, baby. I'm not going to hold you right now, bear. Later. Later, baby doll. Okay, so we have a little bit of a reflection happening there already. Let's mess with the table a little bit, kind of get our nose out of these eggs, and then we'll come back and address them. It's easy to just overwork yourself. Your brain is just so busy solving the problem, it's not able to see the illusion that you have created. So happily we have some, I think we'll do the reflections first. So reflections are just like, kind of like doing it in water. We want to paint them in a downward fashion, and then we will use our blender brush to soften it. Our canvas is pretty dry, so we might have to get with it pretty much to blend it. But what we want the color of the egg that we have, just not as bright, because when you squint, you can see. When you squint and look, you can see the reflection, of course, is not as bright as the egg itself. So that will already happen with the mixture of the table color. But we just want to get a relative color of this egg, and want to start just painting a basic shape here. These are fun because they don't have to be real precise. So we're going to squint and it looks like a half shape here. And it needs to be suggested. It doesn't need to be really well defined. So I'm just using the basic brown color with white. Brown and white. Let's see. Let's try it over here. Yeah. Like it. So brown and white. So we'll just paint down. Adding a little more white here. Using the same colors we used for each egg. Like this one is the transparent oxide red with white. This one is the brown and white. See, this is helping fill our canvas as well. They don't look as it doesn't look as empty as it did. So now I'm just adding brown to the mix here. Brown and blue, because we need to bring out the reflected shadow of the egg here. Just suggested here. We need to do the same over here. So I'm using the brown and blue color that we had for the body shadow, and I'm just letting it mix with what's here. A little darker, a little more brown, a little more blue. Same over here. Now I'm coming back in with a little more light color here to reflect that light. There, so I think that's kind of working. So let's police the area here around those reflections and see what we want to do differently with the table itself. I think let's try a little more blue in our brush. Yeah, I really like that. Let's just use blue with a touch of white in it, just a little bit, to kind of separate this table, give it a tabletop here a little bit. Yeah, I like that. When I do this, I like to let this tabletop color slide up under the egg a little bit to separate it from the cast shadow. See how that cast shadow looks like it's attached to the egg? They're glued together. I'm going to use some of this table color, and I'm going to pull it out sideways to make it set down. And I'm going to come in here and slide right against that egg to break that where it looked like I had that shadow touching the egg itself. So yeah, I'm liking this a lot. This is helping separate everything. We laid our foundation and then we needed to separate things a little bit. So right now, before I finish the table front, I'm going to take my big blender brush and I just want to pull these reflections down just like we would do in water. So I put my brush up to the edge of the cast shadow. I don't want to lose my edge. I'll probably have to restate it, but right now I just want to put my brush down and pull straight down. And then anytime you do that, you need to wipe your brush off because you're picking up paint. And it's pretty dry, so I'm going to have to push a little harder. But we definitely want it softer than the subject itself because we don't want it to compete. We want it to look like a reflection. And then I'm going to go sideways across it. There we go. Yeah, now it looks like it's in the table top, not a separate subject. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now, what can we do to fix the problem of this table? I'm not loving it, but this is helping me find my way here. Sometimes you just got to try something and see what happens. So I'm grabbing more white with a little more blue in it. So I think I'm going to just brighten this a little more, and I'm going to go over, since our reflection is pretty dry, meaning the paint wasn't really wet, I'm going to go over it and restate my cast shadow a little bit here. And the same over here. Just kind of ease it in, spread it out. And it just makes those reflections go back like they are actually reflections, not part of the table itself. So I want these cast shadows to stand out a little more, so I'm just using what's in the brush here and it's kind of restating the table a little bit. We want this to be subtle. We don't want it to compete. Let's see, we need to... I'm just suggesting that this table is continuing to fall back here behind the eggs. Now I think we'll adjust the front of this table. It has a little bit of light on it, striking it. So I'm just going to rinse out my brush and go back with our original brown, blue, and red to re-emphasize this table edge where the table falls over the edge, where it turns, goes down. Whoops, my brush jumped, or I jumped. I'm just painting this down just to suggest everything else is going every which way, so this one's just going down. Just adding a little more dark up here to delineate. I don't want it to draw the eye, just want it to look a little more organized. And I think I'll put some real heavy darks over here in this corner, just for more variety, because right now it's like a prairie of all the same thing. We want, even in the dark spots, when there's a vast, to me, when there's a vast area of canvas, it's good to put some interest in there, some variety. I remember watching painting videos, and I would watch her mass it in, and they'd show you all these technical things, and then they pull away, and then they come back, and it was like, oh, she'd done all her finishing touches. It was gorgeous. It was like, it went from being, you know, a work in progress to a finished piece, and they didn't show that step, and I was so disappointed, because that's the step I really wanted to see and understand how to do, because that to me was the whole trick of it. So anyway, I hope as we paint together and do things, different subjects, that I intend to show the whole process so we can learn how to get it from A to B. So I'm going to stand back and take a look. Well, I think that's okay. I'm happy with that. I think that'll do. I'm not sure what else I would do at the moment to change it, so that might mean it's a good place to stop. Well, I hope you had a good time painting with me today. So come back next time and we will tackle another subject and continue on the journey together. And as I asked before, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that would be great, because it gets this video out to a lot more people. And then also subscribe so you can know when new videos are posted. And comment. Please comment, because that's the best way we can get to know each other. So until next time, be well. Bye.